wanted to share something with you that was on my heart today. This one is for my parents. So oftentimes you may feel like when you become a parent, you are obviously starting a new journey, and you might feel like you're starting from scratch. But I don't want you to do yourself a disservice and not value all of the experiences, all the things that you have done before you become a parent. What I mean by that is there's certain perspectives, there's certain lessons, there's wisdom that you have acquired before you became a parent that is absolutely relevant to the type of parent that you're going to be, to possibly the type of child that you'll be raising, and that none of it is actually irrelevant. And so when you think about your interest, maybe you're an artist, maybe you're an engineer or a scientist, or maybe you're even a homemaker, a chef, anything that you can imagine, you have a set of skills, a set of perspective, and a set of experiences that are absolutely invaluable to your role as a parent. None of it is irrelevant. And so understanding that and leaning into that. Over the years, as 20 years in the game now, my oldest is 19 and a half. I have learned the value of just being authentic and sharing my journey with my children in a child appropriate way, but in a very real and vulnerable way. Why? Because that's me. I'm not suggesting that you be like me, but whatever your way is to connect with the people in your life, I am suggesting that you lean into that and connect to your children in the same kind of way. So what does that look like? For me, when I turned 18, I began my inner healing journey, really reflecting on my childhood. And I'm the whole 4-page letter to my parents. Once I turned 18, like, boom, this is what I did or did not appreciate. Like, what we doing? How we healing? This needs to be rectified. Very justice oriented in my personality. But that's also how I've been my entire life, whether it was with my friends or in the classroom or anything like that. And so similarly, on my parenting journey, when my oldest was maybe 5 or 6, I was like, man, we are out here in the trenches. This is hard. But then I'm like, do I need to pretend like I'm perfect and I've got this thing mastered? No. So I went to her and I was like, hey, how am I doing as a mom? What are the things that you like? What are the things that you dislike? And I opened a dialogue with my child about her experience from her perspective as a child. Some things I had to take with a grain of salt. I think I mentioned that in another video when I was talking about family meetings. But at that point, I was in my 20s. I was an artist, I was singing, I was traveling, I was doing all the things. And I just took her with me, right? I exposed her to my life, my vision, and I was just myself. When I was having a hard time, mommy's having a hard day. Oh, mom just needs to cry and get this out. Oh, I'm really frustrated. Hey, you make some concessions as a child and I'm making some concessions as an adult, but like, I really don't want to speak past 3 times, or, I really value art and traveling, and I have a very artistic nature. And so all of me and who I am authentically is what I show to my children. I did not try to show up as like what I thought a mom should be. And I think sometimes when we're looking at social media and we're looking at all these families and everything looks perfect and they're on a yacht taking family pictures and all this, we start to think that we need to be and show up and parent in a certain kind of way. I don't believe that. I think that every person has their wisdom, every person has their contribution, and your legacy is built around how you infuse and pour that into the next generation, which is your children, or your nieces and your nephews and the people in your life that you have influence over. And so I just want to encourage you that, like, parenting, beginning the parenting journey and even expanding every time you have, a new child, There might even be different aspects of yourself that you share with different children based upon their personality. You know, you might find that one child might be like you in some of the things they struggle with, and you can have vulnerable conversations with them about how you have walked out your journey with that particular strength or weakness. Another child might have a totally different aspect of you where they share that challenge, and you might be able to say, hey, listen, I've struggled with that too. These are some things that have helped, or these are some things that didn't help, and you know, here's some wisdom to guide you along the path. But it's all going to be based upon you, your experience, and your ability to be honest and transparent with your children. So don't think that anything you've ever gone through or any experience you've ever had is not relevant to parenting. Parenting is its own journey, but you have been gifted with the experiences, the DNA, the outlook and perspective for the child that was given to you. That child needs something that you have. They don't need a replica of as seen on TV, as seen on IG, as seen in a parenting magazine. Sure, you can get really great tips. You can get really great insights, toys, curriculums, the whole nine. But at the end of the day, your child is watching you, learning from you in every single thing, the good stuff, the bad stuff. Your child needs you to connect to them, to be vulnerable with them, to share with them. And so it's important for you to be gracious with yourself as a parent and be clear that nothing is wasted. Even the things that you might even feel shame about. You don't know if one day your child might be put in the same situation as you. It might need your support and encouragement, or your guidance, your playbook, the tools you use to get up out of that thing. You never know. But if you're stuck into, I'm a parent now and I can only parent like this and it only looks like this, not only are you doing yourself a disservice and missing out on an opportunity to connect authentically with your children, you're doing your children a disservice because they are missing out on the resource that is you. You are a resource for your children. Yes, there's boundaries, there's respect, there's honor and positions, but ultimately you're a resource for the next generation. You're a resource to help them start further along the journey because you shared. You know, I forgot exactly the term, but basically, like, we are not, the bootstrap thing. Every generation is not here to bootstrap it, just like the generation before. That is an outdated poverty mindset behavior when it comes to parenting. So you may agree, you may not agree, but the fact of the matter is that you didn't go through everything that you went through. You didn't experience everything that you went through just to say, oh, well, I had to go through that, so my children are gonna have to go through that too. That's whack. That's absolutely whack. You went through what you went through so that they don't have to, and they can start further ahead. And I'm not talking about only financial. I'm talking about emotional. I'm talking about relational. I'm talking about spiritual. Share your stories in an age-appropriate way. Guide them from where you are. Guide them from your growth point. Pour into them from your growth point. But don't let it be that they got to get it out the mud in the same arenas that you've already grown from. That's out of order. What's the point? Every generation is going to be starting from baseline again. That's not legacy. That's not what we're called to. So I want to encourage you today. We're not starting from scratch. We are uplifting the next generation, and we can do it. We just have to be vulnerable. We have to connect. We have to share authentically. And again, it might hurt and be a little uncomfortable at first, but this is what we have to do to continue to build upon our legacy. Every generation does not need to bootstrap. You do not need to bootstrap from scratch every single generation. Absolutely not. So I want to encourage you to use everything, every experience, every pain, every joy, every lesson learned, pour it into your children so that they can start their race so much further ahead than you and I ever could. So I hope that this was encouraging. If you're watching this, I would appreciate if you would follow, like, and share this video if you feel like it resonates with someone or a parent that you know that might be struggling in this area. I do have some one-on-ones available if you are struggling with a particular issue in your parenting. I am available for one-on-one coaching sessions. I would also like to invite you guys to follow akionubaby.com, which is a new eco-friendly and sustainable baby and postpartum line. And so I really appreciate you guys sharing. I've been getting some inboxes and some emails, particularly about this parenting thing. And I'm like, oh wow, like people are going through it. But the one thing that is a consistent theme is this shaming and this lack of groundedness from a parent's perspective, like feeling like you don't know which way to go and all this jazz. And I just want to encourage you, like, number one, you're not alone. We've all been there. The journey evolves and it's different every step of the way. But when you really start to embrace your journey and you're honest with yourself and you love yourself and you love your journey, all the pains, all the joys, at that point, you're able to communicate and share from a solid position with your children because you've accepted yourself. And that's a part of the healing journey, is accepting yourself and all the things that you've experienced. So if you've watched this video this far, thank you guys so much. I will talk to you guys soon and have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.